to get started, what I'm going to do first is pick out some key information. So I'm going to look through my research and find a bit of information to represent on my infographic. So I'm talking about timber in Myanmar, and an interesting point that I found was that a large amount of the timber actually goes to two countries, that's China and India. So I'm going to represent those numbers by a pie chart. So inside Pages, you can choose to insert chart, and then when you click on the button to edit the data, what you can do is you can actually change the headings for the things that you need. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to enter the data that I found for the amount of timber that goes to India and the amount of timber that goes to China, and then I'm going to leave the leftovers as an other category. Then you can go ahead and delete the columns that you don't need and set up your basic pie chart. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and change the colors that are used in the individual sections. So double clicking on a section gives me the control over the wedge, and I can go ahead and change the color to whatever I want. So I'm going to change the colors of this pie chart next. The other thing you'll notice is that I'm turning off the value labels and the labels for the actual data. I'm going to instead use the text box overlay in Pages to do that because I feel like I have a little bit more control and I can match the overall themes in my document a little bit better. So now I've brought this in, just like with any other element, make sure you click on Arrange and change text wrapping to None so that it doesn't push elements out of the way. And now I'm just going to position it on the page where I want. I'm going to use the guideline grid that I set up to actually put it in the place that I want, and I'm just going to rotate it a little bit just to make it look a little bit more like Pac-Man. Okay, so now that I have my basic pie chart in, I'm thinking that what I want to do is I want to make this look like a log. And the reason why I want that is because this is really about timber and where the timber goes. So I'm just going to try to find an image of the log, and when I'm doing a Google search, I'm just searching for log in images. I'm using the search tools to make sure that I can see things that are labeled for reuse with modification. Because what I want to do is I really just want to take this and alter it slightly, and my plan is to put this round log shape over the top of my pie chart. Now that I've found the one that I want and made note of the source so that I can reference it later, I'm going to open this up in Preview. And I'm just going to turn on my tools here so that I can see the full tool suite. And I'm going to select one of the logs, but I'm going to select the logs which are circular using the ellipse select tool so that I can just select a circle of a log. So once I've got that tool, I'm going to copy the section of the log that I want, and I'm going to then go to the File menu and say New from Clipboard. So that's going to remember what I just copied from the clipboard, and it's going to open up just that selection. And there it is, and now I'm just going to save that with a new name. And then I'm going to flip back to Pages and drag in this selected piece of log. And my aim is to put this over the pie chart and adjust the opacity so that the pie chart actually looks like it's in a log. So here's how that goes. So at this point, it's probably a good idea to group these two together so that they're kind of moving as one object when you're happy with them, and then apply your labels. So I've just added a text box, and as I said, I removed the labels and the values from the last one because I want to do that here in Pages because I'll have more control over it, and I can make them, I can adjust them more easily, I think, using text boxes. So I'm putting these text boxes of the labels and the values of the different sections that I want to draw attention to. So I'm just going to go ahead and tweak that text to make it look how I want. An important thing to remember when you're working with an infographic design is that you want to try to use only maybe 2 fonts maximum, and try to make your sizes and weights consistent. So here you can see I'm kind of doing that with my numbers, and that's something that you should try to do. The other thing to pay attention to is color. Maybe use 2 colors and one more accent color, and that's kind of a good rule of thumb to follow. Otherwise, your design can look quite busy and distracting. So the last thing I'm going to do here is just go ahead and add some heading text to ask a question to get people's interest about this particular piece of data that I've added. And once I add that, I'm going to just reposition it a little bit and clean it up. So I hope you found this useful. What we've done here is we've taken what could be, quite a boring run-of-the-mill pie chart. We made it look really interesting and related to our theme using image overlay and a little bit of interesting text.